So the Bulls and Pistons set to resume their rivalry. Joe Dumars kind of half doubling on Michael. They didn't call him for the illegal D, and Jordan hits the first field goal of the game for 2. Houston had it knocked away by Harper. Here comes Jordan. Dumars will give it to him.
Out of the gym, he goes past, right down, tiptoes down the sideline, comes back inside and powers it over.
Gets a screen from Longley.
Oh, yes, sir! 53, and it looks like Bushy's going to come to get him out. There's 3:26 left. They take a timeout. Jordan with a Jordan night.
Standing ovation, Michael Jordan. He's 21 of 28 from the field, 2 of 4 from the arc. 53 points, a season high.
We only making the highline. Tell mama that I only want my whole life to only be behind. We only making the.
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's John Manalo coming back with another PE video. And it's by no other than GOAT, Michael Jordan. These are obviously game worn, not dual sign though. They are PEs, they are samples. But the thing is, I don't know is how come they got so trashed. These are like garbage, bro. Like, what happened to the upper material? What happened to the patent leather? It's all cracked up. And what gets to me is that there's like a bleach stain on the Jumpman. You can see right here, and the soles are dookie brown. Now in just a few moments I will show you guys how they look like fully restored, and unlike my previous Concord video which I did a year ago, I iced the soles of these Concord 11's. You can see how much wider the upper fabric has become, as well as the laces. I've lightened up the soles. I didn't want to ice them up too much per the owner's request. He just wanted a tinge lighter. Now to answer the number one question that's probably in your mind, what makes these PEs? How are you so sure that Michael wore these shoes? Now you already see that there's a sample tag on the size tag. You're like, so what? Any shoe can have a sample tag, doesn't mean that it could be a PE. Well, if you know Nike, and if you're about that sample life, you know Nike strictly only makes samples in a size 9. They only make a men's size sample in a size 9. So for this being a size 13, coincidentally Michael's size, and it is an Air Jordan, you know, just put the dots together, it is for Michael Jordan. Alright, the first order of business is to ice the soles. I add the soles inside of the soles as well as the exterior. By doing this, you're speeding up the icing process. So not a lot of people do this. If you learned something new, give this video a like. And of course, we're going to be using OxyClean to wind the fabric.
Don't just clean it, OxyClean it.
I'm going to apply OxyClean Max Force on the uppers just to agitate the dirt and the grime and all the stains. We're just gonna let it sit for a little bit, for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to it and use a brush to scrub all that dirt away. The laces are getting in my way, so all I'm gonna do is just take it out and clean those in a little bit. So instead of White Bright, I'm using Max Force since it has everything I need to lift up the stains and help me assist in whitening the mesh with the laundry detergent. So to help me lift up the stains, I'm going to be using Rejuvenator's Soft Bristled Brush. And you can already see the mesh whitening right before your eyes. So all we're gonna do right now is just we're gonna finish up the right shoe. Now to wind the midsoles, all I'm gonna do is I'm going to be using the same sole sauce for the icy soles onto the midsoles. It will lift up the stains and make it pearly white again. I'm just going to leave them out in the sun and let the sun do its magic. Now to wind the laces, all I'm gonna do is just put a little bit of that laundry detergent, a little bit of water, and the laces inside, as well as the Max Force. So in that yellow bottle, it's only rejuvenated cleaner and distilled water. All I'm gonna do is just refresh the fabric just to make it moist again, and then after scrubbing it, I'm going to apply the blue detergent, let it soak into the fabric, and leave them out in the sun to whiten further. Now don't go anywhere, we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
It's amazing. Watch how OxyClean unleashes the power of oxygen, making tough stains disappear like magic without fading or bleeding the colors. Some clothes say no chlorine bleach, but OxyClean safely removes the stain, even on babies' clothes. It's the stain remover for the things that you love.
After applying the detergent, we're just gonna leave them out in the sun. Now to strengthen the fabric whitening, we're gonna squeeze 1 lemon and we're gonna apply it onto the mesh. So what this does scientifically, the citric acid within the lemon acts as a natural bleach. So if you leave them out in the sun, it'll whiten your clothes, or in this case, the mesh or fabric, naturally without any harsh chemicals. I'm also gonna use some Filipino vinegar just to show my people some love. And if you don't know what vinegar is made out of, it's made out of fermented lemon. So it's a concentrated version of a fresh squeezed lemon. If you don't want to use borax, it's safer to use vinegar since it is all natural. So once we've soaked all of that into the fabric, we're gonna let the sun do its magic and wind the mesh for us. Now without even scrubbing the midsole after we've applied the sauce, you can see how much wider they've gotten.
Un Pierre, un Paul, un Jacques, autumn.
So with the help of my little minion, we're going to tape up the uppers to prep for a reglue. So the purpose of this is to remove the factory adhesive that's still lingering on the upper leather. If we just apply our barge cement super stick on top of the factory adhesive, it's going to separate after the first wear or if it comes in contact with any sort of heat. And because the factory adhesive is still there, we're not bonding our super stick with the leather, we're bonding it to the factory adhesive, which will separate. So the majority of this restoration is just removing the factory adhesive from the uppers, midsole, and rubber sole. So the next step, now that we've had that prep, is to remove the adhesive from the rubber sole and the midsole, which is a heat gun and cotton balls and acetone. You can still remove the factory adhesive without the help of a heat gun, but it's just gonna take you a longer time. The only reason why I'm using a heat gun is because I'm loosening the factory adhesive. With the help of my solvent, it's gonna lift up the factory adhesive. And if you're drinking alcohol, you're probably drunk right now if you're counting how many times I've said factory adhesive. But anyways, the heat gun helps you tremendously when you're removing any type of glue on any shoe. Now we're just going to apply the same steps on the reverse side of the midsole. Now for the rubber sole, we're going to be using a Dremel tool to remove the factory adhesive. If you guys don't have a Dremel tool, using cotton balls and acetone will work fine, but this just speeds up the process a whole lot faster. Now to make sure that the rubber soles are squeaky clean, we're going to be using cotton balls and acetone with the help of our heat gun. Now that the midsole and rubber sole are free from the factory adhesive, it's time to apply our own adhesive, which is the Barge Cement Super Stick. So to prep it, I'm going to be taping up the midsole so there won't be any excess adhesive protruding out of the soles. It's a lot of prep work, but in the end, you know, it's going to look really professional. So now we're going to apply one thin layer of Barge Cement Super Stick to our rubber sole and our midsole. So after applying fresh adhesive on both parts of the shoe, I'm gonna bond them together and just let them cure overnight. So I don't have a hammer, but I am using this pry bar to remove any bubbles that are trapped inside of the soles. So our last step in preparation of the shoe is to remove the factory glue on the uppers. Since they are already taped up, I'm going to apply heat on the uppers and then use cotton balls and acetone to fully remove it. Now that the factory adhesive is gone on the uppers, it's time to reapply new tape to prepare for our reglue. I'm starting on the heel and I'm going to be working section by section just to make sure that I don't miss any spots when I'm regluing the shoes. So what really helps me out to get a really strong bond in my reglues is I let it cure for a couple of hours, I heat it up, and then I bond them together. So as you can see here, I'm heating up the midsole as well as the uppers. After I heat it up at a certain temperature, I'm going to be bonding them together. The right temperature should be around like 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So one shoe is done and it's looking nice and flush on the heel. So as I'm working on the shoe, it's hard for me to see the adhesive that I applied on the black patent leather. So with the help of my light on my forehead, it makes it a whole lot easier for me to know where to apply the midsole. Now that the heel is locked down, it's time to fully reglue the midsoles by taping up the sides and continuing this process throughout the whole upper. And with each step, I always let it cure for 5 minutes and then I bond it together. Now, in the beginning of the video, I did mention that the Jumpman of the left shoe has a little discoloration, so we're just gonna dye it black again. So I'm gonna be using a 50-50 ratio of black paint and Tube Soft from Angelus. I don't need a whole lot, so a couple of drops from each is more than enough to do this job. For this touch-up, it's better to touch up the whole stitching instead of the discolored areas, so everything will look uniform. This wraps up the whole restoration. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy it, press that thumbs up.
Guess what day it is?
To me,
What's up, y'all? Hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to give me that thumbs up. If you guys want me to restore a shoe for you, my email is down in the description below, or just head out, look right there in that bottom right corner. It says Manalo Restoration, so check that out. Send me an email. I all hope your day is as beautiful as you are. Alright, fellas, that's how you get them. After you send it to a female, make sure to get the number. Alright, late.